Okay, so I want to start just in a real basic twist. And I think the way that probably feels best, and you can play around with this, I'm going to give a couple options. Let's start on our right side, but let's take a blanket between our knees. And then you're going to kind of pretend like you have a little crocodile snout with your arms. So left palm will be on top of your right palm. And then the other option that you could do here, you could play with a couple of blocks. It's going to give you a little more space between your legs. So you kind of take one on the bottom. You really want to just have that top knee balanced over the bottom knee. So that would be an option too. It's just nice having a little something between the legs here. Good. So eyes are closed. Take a few nice deep inhales. You can exhale the breath out through your mouth if that feels good. And then the other thing is too, you might feel like you need a little support for the head here. So you could be resting on a block or a blanket there. Begin to drop into your Ujjayi breath. So that inhale through the nose. That exhale through the nose. And then as we inhale, we're going to start to stretch that left arm up and over. It makes this nice big rainbow. And then you open up. So just a nice, simple supine twist. As you come here, if you're really tight on that left side, again, slide a little blanket. Give yourself a little prop underneath that shoulder. And then just, let's just start pressing into the back of the center of the head. So if your eyes were open, you'd be looking straight up at the ceiling. So just keeping it nice and easy. As you inhale, feel that expansion of the rib cage. And then as you exhale, maybe just visualize those left ribs releasing down towards the mat a little more. It might not actually happen, but we're just going for a little more openness here in this twist. Listening to your breath, really allowing that sound to draw you in, help you to quiet and focus. Start to pay attention to the sensations happening in your body. You might be starting to feel just ever so slightly more open across your heart and chest, the shoulder blades pressing evenly. That left one might feel like it's releasing down a little more, getting a little heavier, so it feels equal with the right one. You're gonna take a nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, return your left palm on top of your right palm. And then we're gonna transition to the left side. So you can probably just flip on over if you've got that block or a blanket between your knees. You can do it with the blocks too. You might have to readjust. But then see how this side feels different. So right palm resting on top of your left palm. Maybe you need to slide a little support underneath your head, especially if you're getting any sensation that doesn't feel good. And just taking a couple breaths here in this fetal position. And then as you inhale, make that nice big rainbow with the right arm. It reaches up and over. So you want to feel that right shoulder blade pressing down into the mat. If that's not happening because you're tight around that side, just slide something underneath that shoulder. It could look quite different side to side. So adjust if you need to. And then again, just pressing into the back of the center of the head. So we're not trying to get into the neck here yet. Instead, just gently opening up into this twist. So you're starting to feel the left ribs release down, even if that's just more of a thought. You're feeling this expansion across your heart and chest, this opening. A few more good breaths here. When the attention wanders, come back to that sound of your breath. Take a deep inhale. Feel that widening across the heart and chest. And then as you exhale, right palm comes on top of your left palm. Good, and then let's just roll onto our backs here. Give the knees a gentle squeeze into the chest. Rock a little bit from side to side. And then you might need to grab your strap, so just have it close by. And then keep that right knee squeezing in. Just place your left foot on the mat, so you're like in a half bridge pose position here. Start to circle around in that right hip socket. You can go little circles, big circles, a little of both. And just noticing how this is feeling, gently starting to just warm up that big joint. Switch directions here. And then we're going to find our strap. So you can unfurl it. You're going to take that strap above the sole of the foot. You're going to start to extend that leg to straight. And you might keep a little bend in the knee. You might be really tight in the hamstring, in which case you're coming very far down on the straps, and you might keep a deep bend in your knee. So that's absolutely okay. Do flex the foot, so it's as though you're going to stand on the ceiling with that foot. And then as you exhale, you can actually take your right thumb to that right hip crease, gently pull forward. So we're trying to find space on the lower side of the waist. And then go ahead and just take one strap into each hand. And we're going to take a few breaths here. So keeping that extended leg nice and articulated. That inner thigh is spiraling forward slightly. So you're thinking Tadasana leg here, mountain pose. And if you don't have a strap, you could simply just be holding behind the thigh, the hamstring. So this can be a really intense stretch, just doing this. You might even be feeling it in your hands from gripping onto the strap. So give them a little break if you need to. So if that's the case, if you're tight here, if you're feeling a good stretch, this is where you're going to stay. Otherwise, you might start to extend your left leg to straight on the mat. And again, the same idea applies. That leg is really active. Imagine that there's a wall in front of that foot that you're pressing that foot into. So the foot is articulated, the inner thigh is spiraling down. Both legs are in Tadasana here, even though they're facing different directions. And again, you want your shoulder blades to be nice and heavy. So if you're curling up, go ahead and come a little further down on the strap so you can release down. You could also slide a blanket underneath your head. From here, we're going to take both straps into our right hand. You can take your left hand on top of your left thigh if that leg is extended. Otherwise, just place it by your side. And then as we exhale, we're going to start to extend that right leg off to the side, any amount. So you're just going to that place where you're getting a nice stretch. You're feeling a little sensation, but you're not overdoing it. You're not moving towards a place where you might cause injury or harm. I tend to think less is more. If you are more flexible here, really fire up the glutes, feel the outer hips squeeze in towards each other. That's going to give you a little support. It might mean that you end up backing out of the stretch a bit, but getting a deeper stretch. So you can play with that. And of course, if that left hip plate, so that part underneath you starts to pop up off the mat, you've gone too far, so you just back the leg out a little bit. And the goal here is not to get that right foot to the floor. We're all built different. The goal is to get a nice stretch. nice being relative because this is intense. Check in with your breath again. What's going on there? Find the ujjayi again if you've lost it. All right, we're going to inhale, come back up to center with that leg. Both straps come into your left hand. Take your right arm out in that T shape. So just finding a twist again here. Of course, this one is much deeper. So you may choose to bend that left knee again if it's extended. Start to extend right leg to the left. This time hips are going to pop on top of each other, potentially. You might just be coming over the tiniest amount. This is a big glute stretch, big hamstring stretch. So just getting curious about what's going on in your body. Breath smooth and steady, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your nose. Even here, can you find that idea of that right hip crease pressing forward, so finding a little space. And then feeling these right ribs release down towards the mat, even if it's just a thought. This stretch is really great for the spine. Good when you've got kind of sciatica things going on, lower back, lumbar sensitivity happening. All right, inhale up to center. And then tiny, tiny movement. We're gonna bring our right big toe towards our left shoulder head. So you're kind of going diagonal and back, and it's not far at all. And this one's a doozy, especially on a really, really cold morning. So do less, keep breathing, send your breath to the spots where you're feeling this. Your leg might start to shake a little bit. That's okay. Just check in with your feet, make sure that they're flexed and active. One more deep inhale. Good, come back to center, ha. Give both knees a squeeze in. And then just get curious here. Notice how you're feeling on that right side. Does it feel a little different than the left side? Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does. Maybe it feels like there's more space. So just observing. And then we're gonna take that sequence to the second side. So right foot starts on the mat. So knee bent, knee over ankle. And then we start to just circle around in that left hip socket. Circles can be big, they can be small. Kind of just find what feels good in your body. And then begin to switch directions. So really, really big joint there, big socket. So just kind of warming this up a little bit. Easing in. And then go ahead and find your strap. Take it around the sole of the foot. If you're watching this on YouTube and you don't have a strap, you could use a tie, a belt, a long towel. So you can make shift here. And then bring your hands as far down on the strap as you need to so that you can bring this leg towards straight, but more importantly, keep your shoulder blades pressing down into the mat underneath you. And then really quick too, just take that left thumb into that left hip crease. So that's the action we're trying to get. We're trying to find space in the lower side of the waist. So sometimes it is helpful to just manually manipulate that. And again, you back out a little bit if you need to. You're thinking Tadasana leg. So it's like you're standing on that foot, you're pressing that foot into the ceiling. Stay here like this with the right knee bent. If you'd like to extend that leg to straight on the mat. So it also comes into Tadasana, very active. You're feeling both hip plates underneath you pressing evenly into your mat. So it's like your base, your anchor there. Using your breath here. And then taking both straps into that left hand. You can take your right hand on top of your right thigh. That's nice. It helps you to remember to ground that hip plate down. You also might choose to have this knee bent. Same action applies. So you're pressing into the back of your body nice and even. And then start to extend. that right leg, or that left leg rather, off to the left. So this tends to get more into the inseam of the leg, so you're going to feel it in the groin. You still might be feeling it in the hip though. Kind of just depends on what's going on in your body. So just noticing the sensations, backing out if you need to. Making sure that if that right leg is extended, those toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. Good, couple more breaths here on this side. As you inhale, you come back to center. Take both straps into your right hand, bring your left arm out in a T shape. Direct that left hip forward, finding that space. And then as you exhale, shoulder blades press, but hips might start to stack any amount as you extend that left leg off to the right. Really try to fill up on your inhale. Notice the expansion of the rib cage. And then as you exhale, just visualize those left ribs gently melting towards the floor. So kind of this nice little asymmetrical stretch, this twist in the lower body, which feels really good. Good. As we inhale, we come back up to center. And then that tiny intense movement, left big toe is going to come towards, your right shoulder head. Keep breathing. I'm feeling it. Again, back out a little bit if you need to. Check in with that right leg. Are the toes pointing up towards the ceiling? Is that inner thigh spiraling down towards your mat? Is your breath getting ragged here? Even it out. And that might mean you have to back out of the pose a hair to find that. Good. Come back to center with that leg. Release the strap. Hug knees in. Again, you're just noticing here how you feel. So as simple as that little sequence seems, it's not necessarily easy, but it is one that like packs this nice little punch. You can start to roll forward and back on your spine if that feels okay. Otherwise, you're just going to roll off to one side or the other. And we're going to come up to our tabletop position, moving into some cat-cow, which is going to feel nice after that. So starting to warm up the spine, connect movement with breath. So land with your shoulders over your wrists. If you're a little tighter in the shoulders, turning the hands out a little bit gives you a little more space. Otherwise, you can have the crease of the wrist facing forward. As you inhale, arch into your lumbar, chest comes forward through the gates of your shoulders. As you exhale, press the mat away, firm your shins into the mat. Let the back of your neck release. Inhale, arching. Good, exhale, rounding in. And then continuing like that, maybe your eyes are closed. So your gaze is inward and you're especially paying attention to your spine here. How are things feeling? This is almost as good as that first cup of coffee in the morning. Almost. Good. On your next inhale, come back to neutral spine. You're neither arching nor rounding, so you're nice and even. You're feeling your lower belly pull in and up a little bit, so you're getting that core engagement. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. Keep your gaze an inch or two in front of your fingertips. As you inhale here, lift that right leg up. left arm up. So again, Tadasana leg, your toes are pointing down, outer hips fire up, they squeeze in, so the glutes fire as well. Just imagine that you have two people on either side of you just helping traction you apart. As you exhale, release that, side down. Good, and then again, gaze slightly forward is gonna help with the balance. Find your belly, find your core. As you inhale, left leg, right arm. Point those right toes down. Just kind of using that idea of proprioception, where am I in space? See if your hips are facing the same direction, and then squeeze the outer hips in. Let those glutes fire up. One more deep inhale. Good. As you exhale, release down. Let's just do that side to side, moving with the breath nice and easy. So as you inhale, right leg, left arm, see how long you can get. Exhale, release down. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale, release. So let's do 3 more to each side. You're just moving with your breath. You're being very methodical and steady about this. Trying to find lots of length and space. Definitely engages the core here, so certainly a balance pose. A little flow. Good. So when you've finished up, that left leg, right arm reaching forward, can just come back to your tabletop. And let's walk our hands forward a couple of inches. So we no longer have shoulders over wrists. We're giving ourselves a little space for downward dog. Curl your toes under. Keep a bend in your knees as you start to stretch your sit bones up towards the ceiling. And then release your head down so your ears come in line with your biceps. So you're gazing between your feet. And then staying high on those knees, start to melt the right heel back. So getting into the back of that leg, feeling that stretch in the Achilles tendon. Inhale back up to tippy toes on both feet, deep bend in your knees. As you exhale, press that left foot back any amount. Check in with your breath. It's smooth and steady. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. Good. Inhale back up to tippy toes. Stretch your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Feel that lengthening through the sides of your waist. And then as you exhale, firm up the legs. Feel the front of the leg press to the back of the leg as you start to release your heels back any amount. So the legs come towards straighter. They don't need to be straight. Heels don't need to be on the floor. We move in that direction. Good. Hold on to all of these actions. Maybe squeeze your forearms in towards each other a little more so you start to activate the arms. Keep that feeling as you inhale, shift forward into your plank pose. Shift the feet back a little bit if you need to, just a few breaths here. So again, back of the neck is nice and long. You're just gazing slightly in front of your fingertips. And then lower to your knees. As you exhale, your elbows bend an inch, maybe 2. No more than shoulder heads in line with elbows. Hover here. And then exhale, land in one piece on your belly. Come onto your forehead, reach your arms by your side. Press into all 10 toenails, maybe a little more into the outer edge of your feet. Feel the glutes turn on here. Keep anchoring down into your feet as you inhale, head, chest, arms, reach up. As your shoulder heads start to lift up, feel the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. You could just imagine that you have a little pencil that you're trying to hold on to between those shoulder blades. Breath smooth and steady. Good. As you exhale, release down. So you're either going to stick with that. You could grab a strap if you're a little tighter in your shoulders and take that variation. If you want to interlace your fingers at the small of the back to get into the shoulders a little more, you're also welcome to do that. So here we go, same thing, or maybe using the strap or interlacing fingers as we inhale, coming on up into your shalabhasana. If you have the strap, it's nice because you can kind of pull out on the strap so it gets into different places in the arms, into the scapula a little bit. Good. As you exhale, you lower down. If you interlaced your fingers, just change the interlacing so the opposite thumb and index come on top. So palms are still facing towards each other. You're just shifting everything over one. Good. As we inhale, this time let's lift everything up off the mat. So feet lift. If you go there and it feels too intense in your body, just place them back down. See if you can lengthen out a little more in your lower back. So it's like you're reaching those toes back, but you still have this sensation of pressing down into toenails, even though the feet are lifted up off the mat. Try to lift equally in the back of your body and the front of your body. Good. Deep inhale. Exhale, release. And then you can lose the strap. Let's bring our fingertips underneath our shoulder heads. Squeeze the elbows in. Moving with the breath here as you inhale. Low cobra pose. Exhale, lower. So not pressing into the hands to come up here. Exhale, lower down. Just taking several rounds, moving with your breath. Keep the elbows squeezing in. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. And then inhaling up, holding here. Again, just find that idea of shoulder blades squeezing in towards each other. And then let's just start to look out over our right shoulder here. So stretching out the neck a little bit, keep the elbows squeezing in. You don't have to go very far. Just go to the place where you're feeling a stretch. Come back to center. And then looking out over that left shoulder blade. Go back to center. From here, press to your tabletop. Curl your toes under. Downward facing dog. That was a lot of back bending. So again, just maybe fidget around a little bit, pedal back and forth between your feet. Anything that feels good. Just kind of finding a little release in that lumbar, that lower back. And let's start to walk our hands back to meet our feet. Little standing cobra here. As you inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. You can have a deep bend in your knees. Fingertips can be on the floor or hands on shins or thighs. As you exhale, fold in. If you like that, inhale, lengthen. Good. Exhale, fold in. Notice if all of the weight is back in your heels. Rock forward a little bit. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. This time, root down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. Good. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, arms reach. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in, lengthening the back of the neck. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, fold back in. Press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. 2 more of those Ardha Surya Namaskaras. You can close your eyes here. That might feel nice. And just moving with your breath. So completing 2. Good, just standing in your mountain pose tadasana when you're done with that second round. Checking in, noticing how you're feeling. So for a lot of us, when we start to flow, the brain quiets down a little bit. Not always true. Okay, so let's start to add on here. So as you exhale, release your arms by your side. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. So feel the weight in your heels here. Try to keep them pressing back. Walk forward into your downward facing dog. At some point, the heels are gonna lift, that's fine. Good, release your ears between your biceps. You're just gazing between your feet. As you inhale, you're gonna lift your right leg. As you exhale, you're gonna step that foot through, land on your left knee. Just hang out here for a few breaths. So you're really melting this left hip down. Feeling that big stretch on the hip flexors. This can be a really nice place if you're tight there to have hands on blocks. So that's just called bringing the floor a little closer to you. Some may say it's cheating. They're wrong. It's smart. You do want to make sure that you have enough space in this front leg. So knee over ankle. All right, so let's bring our hands to that right thigh. Make sure you're not on a tight rope here. So you might need to walk that right foot off to the right a little bit. Direct your tailbone down. Fire up your glutes. So they're squeezing in towards each other. As you inhale, arms reach up. Good. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Plant your palms. Let's curl left toes under. We're going to step the left foot to meet the right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest lengthens. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, press into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhaling, reaching up, uttita hastasana into dasana, extended mountain. Exhale, fold into your uttanasana. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. So we're going to keep the right foot forward again, step your left foot way back. This time we're going to keep those toes curled under. Find a nice deep bend in that knee. Inhale, stretch up. In to your crescent pose. That little bend in the back knee. From here, as we inhale, we're going to straighten both legs. Really feel this right hip pull back, left hip forward. Exhale, bend in. Good. Inhale, press up. Good. Exhale, bend in. One more. Inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, sink in. Keep this nice 90-degree bend here in this right leg. Maybe start to firm that left leg. And then bring your palms to face forward. Make fists here as you exhale. Start to pull arms down, elbows squeeze in. And then nice and slow, kind of just imagine that you've got a barbell that you're pressing up. So kind of using a little resistance here to get into the muscles. Nice work. Keep that back leg nice and strong. Reaching back through that heel as you exhale, pull down. Inhale, stretch your arms up. As you exhale, unwind here. Keep your hips this low. Step your right foot to meet your left foot. Good, shift forward on toes, come to knees, lower to halfway. Hover there, then all the way down. A few times here. Inhale, chest extends forward, Bhujangasana. Exhale, lower. Inhaling up. Really press into all 10 toenails in your feet. Exhale, lower down. Inhale up here. Take an exhale. Inhale, lift a little higher, and then press to your tabletop. Curl your toes under here. And then again, we start to walk our hands back to meet our feet. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down to rise up. Feel that lift in your arches here. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, hinge, forward fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Keep rooting back into your heels. Slowly start to walk forward into your downward facing dog. And then we inhale, lift the left leg. As you exhale, step that foot through between your hands, lower onto your right knee. So getting into this right hip flexor. So if you're a little more open, you're sliding that knee further back. If you're tighter, your hands are up on blocks. You can play with the height. Keep that breath smooth and steady. Big, big muscles attaching here. So this is definitely intense. It's harder on a cold Saturday morning. Maybe you're observing how, if this side feels different than the other side, it's not uncommon for one to be noticeably different. Always making the wise choice to back out a little bit if you need to. I think we often push harder than we should. We want to be doing this for many decades to come. Okay, so we're going to start to upright ourselves here. Again, just make sure you're not on a tightrope, so walk that left foot off to the left if you need to. Notice how you've got this space in the lower sides of your waist. You're directing your tailbone down. You're feeling this lift of your sternum. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. So coming into your low crescent pose, maybe you bring your gaze up. You might even press palms together if you have the accessibility in your shoulders to do so. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Curl your right toes under, and then we're going to step that right foot to meet the left foot. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Root down into your feet. Stretch your arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Good. Inhaling, reaching. As you exhale, hinge, forward, fold in. Inhale, lengthen forward, keep your gaze forward, keep the left foot forward, step that right foot way back. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Find a little bend in that right knee. Inhale, rise on up. Take an exhale here. And then as we inhale, feel those outer hips squeeze in towards each other as you straighten the legs. Exhale, deep bend in both knees. Good. Inhale, belly is pulling in and up to help you bring the legs to straight. Exhale. One more. Inhale, press the legs to straight. As you exhale, sink in. You can keep that bend in the right knee. Maybe you start to straighten that leg, especially if you're enjoying that stretch on the hip flexor. Palms face forward, make fists. So fire up the arms a lot. And imagine that you're pulling down through molasses. Exhale. And then same thing, pressing up. Find a little resistance using your own body. Exhale, pull down. Good. Inhale, press up. As you exhale, pull down. Final one here. Inhale, pressing up. Release your hands, maybe bring your gaze up, press palms together. As you exhale, you unwind here. So keep hips this low. Step that left foot to meet your right foot in your plank pose. Take an inhale. Exhale, shift forward on toes, come to knees. Elbows bend to halfway, hover. And then all the way down. 3 times with our low cobra. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, find that coiling action in your chest. Exhale, lower. Are your glutes working? Are your legs working? Inhale, come up. Take an exhale here. Inhale, press to tabletop. Exhale, curl toes under. Downward facing dog. Start to walk your hands back to meet your feet. Inhale, chest lengthens. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, press into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right, so you're at the back of the mat. As you inhale, reach up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Nice and easy here. Start to walk your hands forward. Finding your downward facing dog. Take a breath or two here and observe how much more spacious this feels than it did at the beginning of class. We're going to inhale, lift our right leg, keep your hips even. As you exhale, step your right foot through, and then I want you to walk your right foot off to the left. So heel toe it over a couple of times. Have a block behind that right foot. Spin into the back edge of your left foot. So our right heel is intersecting our left arch. And then windmill arms up and over into your Virabhadrasana 2. So nice big hip stretch here. This right knee is pressing back. We're getting this big hip opening in this front leg. Left hip is releasing down. So hips are not on the same plane. Do check out your torso though. It should be facing to that long edge of your mat. And then gaze out over your right fingertips. As you inhale, press that front leg to straight, arms reach up overhead. Exhale in. Good, inhale up. Exhale in, one more time. Keep this back leg really strong. Inhale, press up. Exhale in. You're gonna flip your right palm up towards the ceiling as you inhale. Reverse your warrior, so getting this nice lateral stretch. And then as we exhale, you're either gonna bring your elbow to your right knee, top arm up and over, or you could bring your hand to your block behind your foot. And then let's just do that a couple times. So as you inhale, find that reverse warrior. Exhale, legs are staying exactly the same here. Come into your Padangusthasana. One more inhale. Reverse your warrior. Exhale. Padangusthasana. And then from here, just go ahead and unwind. Spin on to those left toes. We're gonna step our right foot back to meet our left foot. Come to your knees, exhale, lower, hover at halfway, then come all the way down. Inhale, low cobra. As you exhale, press back. Start to walk your hands back to meet your feet. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down to rise up. Almost there with the standing sequence. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Put the weight in your heels. Start to walk your hands forward into your downward facing dog. When you get there, inhale, lift your left leg up. Keep the hips nice and even. Use your belly. Exhale, step that foot through. Heel toe it to the right twice. Keep that nice deep bend in the knee. Spin into the back edge of that right foot. So we are heel to arch. Keep the legs this strong. Inhale, rise up. Virabhadrasana 2. So left knee presses back, right hip releases down. You're sealing into the back edge of that foot. Square your torso. So especially that left side, just wrap it forward towards the long edge of your mat. Inhale, press to the inner edge of that left foot to rise to straight legs, arms up overhead. Exhale in. Good, inhaling up. Exhale, sink in. Inhale, come on up. And then exhale, sink in here. Flip your left palm up towards the ceiling. Legs stay exactly like this. Inhale, find your reverse warrior. And then as we exhale, either elbow to knee or fingertips to that block behind you. Extended side angle pose. Really roll those left ribs up. A few times like this. Inhale. Reverse, legs are staying exactly the same here. So feel those outer hips squeeze in. Exhale, side angle pose. Inhale up here. Into your reverse, one more. Exhale, uttita padangusthasana. Deep inhale, and then exhale, unwind. Step to your plank pose, shift forward on toes, come to knees, lower halfway, hover, and then onto your belly. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, press to your tabletop. Curl your toes under. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. And then you're gonna find a child's pose here. So lower knees down, bring big toes together. Take knees as wide as feels good. Go a little wider, you're gonna get more of a stretch in your hips. And we're pretty warm here, so that will probably feel good. Resting your forehead either on the floor or on a block or a blanket. And let's take another deep inhale. Sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. So shifting gears here, kind of starting to move into this cool down part of our yoga practice as we move towards our shavasana. You can continue with your ujjayi breath. You might kind of let that go, but continue to just inhale and exhale through your nose. Wherever you're at, try to lengthen the inhale and then also lengthen the exhale. So you're just giving them each a little more time. Let's find a twist here. So start to walk your arms off to the right. Just lay your belly out over that right thigh. Wrap those left ribs towards that right thigh. Come back to center. And then walk off to the left. Nice, hands walk to center here. Slowly roll on up. And we're gonna come into a hip stretch here, another little hip stretch. So we're gonna set up for our double pigeon with the option to come onto your back and do your reclining pigeon if that feels better in your body. So this is a really great pose to sit up on a blanket or a block, especially if you know that you're a little tighter in the hips, in the pelvic girdle. It's hard for you to sit tall. Blanket is really nice. So we're gonna cross our right shin in the center of our left shin. Another good indication that you might need to sit up on something is if your knees are really, really high. So from here, we're gonna root down into our sit bones. Inhale, stretch arms out and up. And then exhale, hinge, forward, fold in. So you might be pretty upright. That's absolutely okay. You might even have your hands on blocks. As long as you're getting that stretch in your hip, we're all built different, so we're gonna go to different places. This is a little easier in your body. Maybe you're making fists with your hands as a little pillow. You could slide a block underneath your forehead. And again, if this is just not feeling good in your body, go ahead and come onto your back. Take that right ankle above your left knee, flex the foot. Then you can take your right hand into that right thigh, gently press forward. So that same idea that we had at the beginning of class, trying to find that space in the lower right waist. If this is an intense place to be, if you're feeling the stretch, stay here. Otherwise, you can bend your left knee into your chest, reach your right hand through that triangle you've made with your legs, interlacing fingers either around that hamstring or the shin. And even here, you can wedge your right elbow into your right thigh. So both really great hip stretches. These hip stretches are intense. They're not easy. So notice if you've started to grip intense. A lot of time that happens in the inner thigh. See if you can release that groin. You also might be tensing in the shoulders. You might be clenching the jaw a little bit. So see if you can be soft and quiet in those places. Back out a little bit if you need to. So the point isn't to like suffer here and have these stretches be unbearable. Yes, there's sensation, but it should be manageable. Sometimes counting your breath can be a helpful little distraction or tool here. So inhaling to 6 or 7 or 8. And then exhaling to that same number. So if you're in your double pigeon, as you inhale, start to make your way up. If you're on your back, you can just release if you had hugged that leg in. If you're on your back, you can give both knees a squeeze into your chest. Extend legs to straight here if you're seated. And then recross with left shin in front. This might be a lot different this side. Sit up a little more if you need to. Good. And then rooting into your sit bones. If you're on your back, you're crossing left ankle above right ankle, flexing that foot. You can flex your feet in the seated variation here too. Arms stretch up. Hold on to all of that length. So folding into this without rounding into the spine, it might mean that hands are on blocks. And then working your way in here. We got a minute or so here. So there's time to kind of move through those places where and getting that intense stretch, just be there, feel it. Maybe it opens up and you go a little further. Maybe you just stay where you're at. If you're on your back, you might be hugging that right knee in towards your chest, wedging the left elbow into that left thigh, helping you to find a little more of that hip opening. Observing how the side feels different in your body. Is it your easy side? Is it your hard side? Are you feeling pretty even today? Not trying to change anything, just becoming aware of what's going on in your body. And then again, if you are doing the double pigeon version, you might be just resting your head on something if you're close to the floor. And if you're not, don't worry about that. A few more good breaths here. Are you gripping anywhere? Can you soften there, let go? If you're on your back, just uncross, release, hug knees into your chest. If you're seated, inhale, slowly start to roll on up. Extend legs to straight, give them a little shake out, and then we're all going to meet on our back here. Hug knees in, and let's find one quick little spinal twist before we come into our Shavasana. So keep knees squeezing in, arms out in a T shape. As you exhale, those knees drop off to the right. Gazing up at the ceiling or maybe rolling onto that left cheek. Feel shoulder blades heavy in the mat. Feel those left ribs just start to release down towards the floor. Even if it's just more of an idea than an actual occurrence. Good. Inhale up to center. And then as you exhale, knees drop off to the left. Roll onto that right cheek. Good. Inhale up to center. Hug knees in. And then start to make your way into your Shavasana. So whatever that looks like, it could be legs up the wall, classic Shavasana. Maybe you're sliding a blanket underneath your knees. It's especially nice if you feel any tug in your lower back. You could also just bend the knees, take feet wide, allow them to knock in. And then commit to soaking up these final quiet moments. Sometimes they're the hardest. But let yourself surrender and relax. Not worry about anything that needs to get done just yet. Shavasana. Let your next inhale be a little bit deeper. And then just let the breath go. Let your awareness come back to your body. Begin to wiggle, stretch. So just finding any movement that feels nice. And staying soft and quiet. Find that fetal position. So roll to one side or the other. And linger there a moment. And finally, just using your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. Checking in, noticing how you feel here, noticing what's shifted for you in this past hour. So hopefully feeling some space and ease and strength in your body. Steadiness, richness, depth of breath. And hopefully the headspace is feeling a little quieter, a little calmer. You might even be feeling a little sense of joy. Soak all of these good sensations up. Send yourself love and gratitude for showing up and making it happen. And just promise yourself that you're going to carry a little of this feeling and warmth into the rest of the chilly weekend ahead. Bring your palms together at your heart. Just bow your head with a smile.